Hello, so in this video I want to talk about the concept of key in music, and my aim is to explain it in the most basic way that I possibly can. I'll use the piano to demonstrate because it makes the sounds we're talking about be all mapped out in a visual kind of way. So in order to understand key, we first have to get a basic understanding of the notes on a keyboard. As you can see, there's heaps of notes on here, but the fact is all the notes are just really groups of 12 notes repeated over and over again. So if we go from here to here, that's 12 notes in between. And you can see how the black notes are actually arranged in groups. So we have 2 here, here and here, and we have 3 here and here. And so the pattern keeps repeating. We've got 2 and then 3 and then 2 and then 3. And you use those as a kind of map to help you know where you are in the pattern of notes. So like I said, between here and here we have 12 notes, or you could start from here if you like, between here and here, and there will still be 12 notes in between. And then, here to here, you just look at the pattern and where you are in relation to the black notes, and it's all 12 notes apart. So the 12 notes, or at least we'll look at the white notes first, and if you start here, at the second bottom one, here at this point, that's called A. And then next to it is B, C, D, E, F, G. And then we start again, A, B, C, and so on. And the black notes are ways to modify those notes so that they become sharps or flats. We'll go into that a bit later. Okay, so that's how a keyboard is laid out, which is part 1 of this video. Okay, so now I'm going to start here on this note, which is C. It's called C. And I'm going to follow a certain pattern of notes here. So I play C, and then I miss this note and I play this note, and then I miss this note and play this note, right? And then I play the next note, there's no in between, and then I'll miss this note and play this one, miss this one and play this, and so on, another missed, and then there's another one with it where there's no note in between, and I play that. And what I've just played you is the C major scale, and that pattern of notes, the missing the notes that are in between, is the set pattern that makes up a major scale. So we could follow that same pattern starting on any note at all. So say we go to A, so we start here on A, we do that, and then we follow the same pattern that we followed before. We miss the note, and now we want to miss another note because that's part of the pattern. So because there's no black note to miss, we'll have to miss a white one and go up here. Right? And then this time we want to miss no notes at all. So to follow the pattern we now play this note. And then we want to miss a note. And then this time again we want to skip a note, so we go here. And then we want to skip another note and go here. And then we want to get the next one like that. And that's the A major scale. And so following that same pattern, we've now got a system in which you've got to play 3 black notes in order to play the A major scale. So by following that system, starting on any note at all on the whole keyboard, you've got the same pattern of notes as in the ones you miss and the ones you play. And it has a similar kind of sound to the ear, and that makes you major scale. But every time you start on a different note, you're actually playing a different combination of notes in between. I hope that makes sense. So if we go on B major, for example, start on B, this is B, and follow that same pattern, you end up with this scale. So you played a lot of black notes there. Whereas, for example, if you start on G, you've got, this is G, you're following that same pattern, there's only one black note, and that's the second last one. So, like I said, no matter what note you start on, you can follow that same pattern of which notes you happen to miss and which ones you play. It's the same rigid pattern every time, so you sort of go miss a note, don't miss a note, and then miss 3 notes, and then don't miss a note. There's obviously technical jargon to explain that, but I won't go into that at this stage. So if I was to start on any note and not follow that pattern, it would sound completely random. So we might go something like something like that. And it just doesn't make sense. It hasn't got a sound that to the Western ear has any kind of, well, it just sounds random. So most Western music is built around these scales. There's also other patterns of scales. The most common are called minor scales, but I won't go into those either now. It's enough just to know that you start on a note, any note, and then you follow that same pattern of notes that you miss or not, and that creates a sound that sounds right to the Western ear, and it also creates a different combination of white and black notes in between those two notes which are the same as each other within those 12 note patterns. So to recap everything we've done so far, I'll just do that really briefly. We've got the layout of the keyboard. We've got groups of 12 notes. You find your place according to where the black notes are. They're called A through to G, and then you start at A again. The black notes modify those notes, and then you play a major scale by following a set pattern of notes that you play, and you can follow that pattern no matter what note you play on. Okay, so that's part 2 of the video. Okay, so now on to part 3 of the video, which is also the shortest, in which we actually get to the idea of key. So take any of those major scales which we've played, and the note that we started on becomes the name of that scale and also the name of the key you play the piece of music in. And so let's say we have the key of A major, which we've already talked about, which has the 3 black notes in it, 3 sharps. So this is the scale of A major, and those are also the notes that belong to the key of A major. So if you were to play a piece in the key of A, then the vast majority of notes that you play within that piece will be made up of those 8 notes that we just played. So with these black notes, you're very unlikely to play this note very often or this note very often because you're replacing them by the black note. And that's how you know that you're in the key of A. So if you play a piece in B major, you'll be playing a lot of black notes. Whoops, I messed up there. And if you play a piece in C, of course, you'll be mostly in white notes. So to demonstrate, here's a little piece I'll play in C major, or a part of it, a little one I learned when I was about 12. As you see, there was no black notes at all in that. That's the key of C major. And to play a piece in A, there's a little bit of Schubert. Yeah, I messed up. Anyway, you get the idea. That's the end of the video. Thank you.